Good morning, children. Saira, welcome back to our science class. So, today's session we are going to continue with our lesson number 9, reproduction in animals. So, we are going to continue with our chapter number 9, reproduction in animals, part 3. Now, let us quickly revise what we learned in part 1 and part 2. So in the part 1, we learned about the importance of reproduction. Importance of reproduction. Why do animals reproduce? So all living things have the stages in life. So what are stages? That is life cycle. That is all living things. They are born, they are growing, and they become old, and they die. So growing, then becoming old, and then they die. So these are the stages in the life of a living thing. This is called life cycle. This is called life cycle. So all living things produce young ones like themselves so that life on earth can continue. So that life on the earth can continue. That is why living beings, they reproduce of their same kind. So example, lions, human, they give birth to babies, and birds, frogs, they lay eggs from that which babies are hatched. And some animals, they give birth to young ones, and some animals, they lay eggs and then hatch their babies. So the animals which give birth to young ones, the baby animal is before they are born, they are inside their mother's body, right? And after so many weeks or months, the baby is born. And when the baby is born, it is very weak. It cannot walk, it cannot talk, it cannot do anything, and it is helpless. So some of them, they can't even walk also. So their mothers, their parents, they take care of their babies till they are independent. Okay, still they can look after themselves. And the mothers who feed their babies with their own milk, they are called as mammals. Such animals are called as mammals. And also we learnt about the animals that lay eggs. So which are the animals that lay eggs? Birds, snakes, insects, frogs. There are many animals which lay eggs. And also we learned about the structure of an egg. That is the important parts of the eggs are embryo, yolk, albumin, and the shell. Do you remember we learned in part 2? Yes, in part 2 we learned about the structure of the egg. And what is called yolk, in the outer part is called the shell, and inside the shell there is a yellow portion, it is called the yolk. And the top of its developing baby, on the top of the yolk there is a red color something, that is called the embryo, which develops the baby. And the yolk also contains the food of the embryo. And surrounding the yolk there is a white part, that is called albumin, and it protects the embryo and provides water and protein to it. After the eggs are laid, the parent bird, what do the mother bird do? It sits on the eggs. So that is called incubation. Why it is sitting on the egg? Because to keep the egg warm. So this period is called incubation. The baby birds start growing inside the eggs. Now after some weeks, the baby birds are fully developed. Then they break open and they come out of the egg. So the parent birds, they feed and they protect their young ones until they are till they can look after themselves, because they are very weak when they are born. Okay, now in today's chapter we are going to continue, that is part 3. We are going to continue the lesson, and today we are going to learn how babies hatch from frog's eggs. So we are going to learn all about the frog. So how the frog eggs are hatched and how they become adults So let us proceed. Now this is the frog, you must be knowing. Okay, so it lays the eggs in the water. So it has got some stages. The frog eggs to become the adult, it has got some stages. The first stage is the frog lay eggs and they become tadpole. These are the eggs. These are the eggs, and after some days it hatches and it looks like a fish, that is called tadpole. And from the tadpole the young frog develops, and slowly these tails will become the limbs of the frog, and finally it will become a adult frog. I'll show you the life cycle of a frog. So life cycle of a frog is eggs, tadpole, young frog, and the adult frog. Okay, now let us learn something about the frog. So this is the life cycle of frog. So this is the adult frog. Okay, now the frog eggs. So this is the frog eggs. So now after some times, inside that yolk, embryo is there. So can you see like fish like type? It has a tail and the head. This is called tadpole. And after some weeks it breaks open and it looks like this, a small baby fish like. So it keeps swimming in the water. That is why frog lay eggs in the water. Now it is growing. Then after some days it looks like this. Then this tail will become short and it will convert it as a limb. And this is the adult frog. So these are the stages of the frog, life cycle of frog. Now what is metamorphosis? What is metamorphosis? The process by which some animals like frogs, cockroaches, butterflies go several stages to become an adult. Several stages to become an adult is called metamorphosis. Several stages means these are the stages. So as it is when they are hatched from the eggs, it doesn't look like this. The frog doesn't look like this. First it looks like a fish, that is tadpole. Then slowly it grows. See, it doesn't have limbs only. It has got limbs or what? No, see the limbs, 1, 2, 3, 4. This tadpole doesn't have any limbs. Slowly the limbs are growing and then finally it becomes a frog. So these stages, there are several stages to become an adult. This is called metamorphosis. So same like frogs eggs, cockroaches eggs, butterflies eggs, all these animals, they have several stages to become an adult. That is called metamorphosis. Now some insects like ants, bees, wasps, beetles, butterflies, moths, cockroaches, crickets, grasshoppers, dragonflies, locusts, termites, etc. These are the insects' name of the insects. These are name of the insects. So all these insects also lay eggs. All insects also lay eggs. Not only the animals, These insects also lay eggs. Many of them go through several stages before they become adult. So these insects eggs also, they go through different stages like the cockroach. Now let us learn about the cockroach. So this is the cockroach. It's an insect. Okay. Now to become an adult, first it lays the eggs. So it lays the egg like this. So the cockroaches passes through 3 stages in their life cycle. So cockroaches passes through 3 stages in their life cycle. The baby cockroach that hatches out from such eggs looks like the adult cockroach. Looks like the adult cockroach. So when the egg is hatched, it looks like the adult cockroach. It does not look like a fish or something like that. Same like adult cockroach, it will look, except that it does not have wings. When the baby cockroach is born, it does not have wings. Otherwise, it looks like a cockroach only. Okay. Now, this cockroach, when they are born, they do not have wings. So, it is called a nymph. It is called a nymph. Then, after some days, it sheds its skin. It removes its skin several times and changes into an adult. This shedding of old skin, it is called molting. It is called molting. Have you seen in the pictures and all, skin also remove, that snake also removes its skin. So same like that, these cockroaches also do. Now let me show you the life cycle of a cockroach. So this is the life cycle of a cockroach. The cockroach egg is like this. And when the egg is hatched, it looks like a nymph. It looks like a nymph. When the baby comes out, when the baby is hatched out from the egg, it is called a nymph. See, it looks same like a cockroach. Only thing is, it does not have wings. Then, after the nymph, slowly it grows into an adult cockroach. How it grows? It sheds its old skin and then slowly the wings comes out. So the without wings, it is called a nymph, and the shedding of old skin is called molting. Now see, so here is the cockroach egg. So cockroaches are born. You can see slowly it sheds its wings, its skins. Slowly it sheds its skin, and slowly after some days, then the wings are grown. So this is the wing. These are the wings of the cockroach, and finally adult cockroach, and finally adult cockroach. So there are only 3 stages for the cockroach, 3 stages of their life cycle: egg, nymph, adult cockroach. And we learned what is nymph and what is molting. And same way, the insects like grasshoppers, locusts, termites also go through these 3 stages only. That is egg, nymph and adult. Okay. So if they ask you some examples of the animals which has 3 stages of life cycle, so you can name all this insects name. So what we learned today, the life cycle of a frog and the life cycle of a cockroach. So frog, how many stages are there? For the frog, egg, tadpole, then young frog and the adult frog. And for the cockroach, egg, nymph and the adult cockroach. So we learned what is metamorphosis. So what is metamorphosis? The process by which some animals go through several stages to become an adult. So it is called metamorphosis. And we also learned about nymph and molting. What is nymph? The insects which do not have wings. When it hatch from the egg, it does not have the wings. That is called nymph. And what is molting? Shedding of the old skin is called molting. And how many stages are there for the insects? 3 stages. And can you give some examples? So grasshoppers, locusts, termites, all these insects have 3 stages of their life cycle. Okay, now in the next video, in the next session, let us learn about the life stages of the butterflies. Okay, now until then, take care. Bye bye. Thank you, children.